Hello YouTube, Dave here again. So with this video I wanted to discuss the other book that I got this week. So it wasn't just my copies of the Player's Handbook, but I also received my copy of Hoard of the Dragon Queen, which is an adventure, part one of the what they call the inaugural campaign for 5th edition. And it goes from levels 1 through 7. So I was, surprised by a couple of things when I got this. The first was that it's a hardcover. I was really expecting it to be like a paperback, or kind of like a folder with something that you pull out with the, just the black and white copy of the adventure, like certain things have been in the past. So it was nice to see it was a hardcover. It retails for $35, which isn't bad, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. The only real issue that I have with the fact that it's levels 1 through 7 is that it completely invalidates the adventure in the starter set, the Lost Mine of Phandelver. I thought they were actually going to connect everything together so that the events in this would somehow lead up to the events in this, but that doesn't happen. Hoard of the Dragon Queen takes place well to the south and is completely unrelated to anything to do with the Lost Mine of Phandelver. So it's kind of the final nail in the coffin for the starter set. I was on the fence about it before for the price that they were charging for it versus what they gave you, and now that the one of the sole things that could have really been useful in the future was that it was the first chapter of the campaign that they were going to have. Now that that's not the case, I really can't recommend this unless you're a collector and you want it because it's a box set. So that's kind of the end of the starter set. I feel bad, but it's just unless you are collecting, it's just not worth picking up. So on to the adventure itself. It's pretty well written. I've liked it, what I've read so far. Haven't gotten all the way through it yet. It's going to be a while before I get a chance to run it. So this is just kind of, what's included in the book and, my thoughts of it and stuff like that. So the book itself, so it is hardcover. It is full color as well. And similar to the Player's Handbook, it's got the, the picture there with the title. The Tyranny of Dragons and Wizards of the Coast, as well as Kobold Press apparently worked on this, so incorporating some people outside of just Wizards of the Coast, which is interesting. And the artwork is pretty much the same quality that's in the Player's Handbook, which is nice. The paper is a lot, it's a thicker paper, and it's also more of just a regular paper feel as opposed to the glossy pages that they have in the Player's Handbook. So the paper itself is a little bit cheaper. And that's probably to keep the cost down. So, like I said, the adventure is nice, the art's nice. Not a fan of the fact that, once again, no maps. Something that's kind of a problem for me so far. It's nice to have something that you can pull out and show the players, at least this is the region that you're in. These are everything in relation to one another. And it's nice to have something, for people who do want to use miniatures when they play, because, it's simplified as the combat seems to be in 5th edition, it can still get chaotic, so it's nice to have some sort of way to represent where everybody is. So I would have liked to have seen something, even if it was just a map of the region on one side and a black and white blank grid on the other. When you compare it to other adventures released, so this is one of the 4th edition ones, same price, $35, and this Canadian price, of course. And it has, a fold-out double-sided map, full color, and the page count's actually higher in this. This is, about 150 pages versus about 96. So, with 35 Canadian does seem like a decent price, and I'm not going to complain too much about it. But compared to the previous ones, you are getting less book, and again, no map. And for American viewers, it's $29.95, so a little bit of a difference there. So the only other thing that I find disappointing about the book is that a lot of the encounters aren't actually printed in the book itself, and that's only really going to be a problem until the monster manual comes out, which is the mid to late next month. So when that comes out, it's not going to be as much of an issue. But at this point, there's an encounter with the blue dragon, and there's an encounter with the white dragon that you see on the cover here, and they're not printed in the book. So if you want to get their stats, you have to download the free PDF from the Wizards of the Coast website, which is fine for a lot of people, I'm sure. Personally, I don't like PDFs. I prefer to, flip through the book. I like to have it all there. I don't really want to have to print off extra pages just to run the adventure. And again, it's a minor issue because, you know, next month in September the Monster Manual comes out, and I'm pretty sure that anything that's not listed in here will be in the Monster Manual. So it's kind of a temporary problem. Anybody picking this up after the Monster Manual comes out won't even be a concern. So this is the, as I said, this is the first part of the inaugural campaign. The second chapter, Rise of Tiamat, comes out in October, and that'll be the conclusion. So it's just the 2 books. I'm not sure what the level range is going to be for the second one. But this one here is 1 through 7, broken up into different chapters, and they have like a milestone feature, which must be something they talk about in the DMG when it comes out, where if you achieve a certain point in the story, you know, you're automatically guaranteed to be bumped up to a certain level, which I kind of like. That's how I ran some of my previous campaigns rather than trying to calculate everything out. It's nice to know that, you know, by this point of the story, you should be this level. So I like that aspect of it. I do think it is kind of missed potential to, like I said before, tie it into to the adventure in the starter set. It would have been nice to have it sort of like a 3-part. You know, this level's 1 through 5. This could have been levels 6 through 10 or even 11. And the other one could have been, you know, 11 or 12 through 16 or 17 to make it feel like a really, you know, full, complete campaign. I do plan on eventually running this. It won't be the adventure that I run next week when I get a chance to actually play test some 5th edition with some friends of mine. I will be taking encounters out of this. I would rather run, you know, Hoard of the Dragon Queen when I get a chance to run an actual, you know, full-time campaign. So I am looking forward to that. So, you know, for anybody who has this now and has had a chance to run it, you know, please comment below on how the adventure went for you and, you know, what you thought of it. You know, I like it. 35 Canadian is a little bit high for what we get versus other ones, but, you know, at the same time, it's still not that bad a price, especially compared to the Player's Handbook, which, you know, would have cost, you know, $62 around that for me. So I do give this a recommendation, especially where it's an early release. You know, these things are harder to get later on, so for collectors, you know, you're going to pick it up anyway, but definitely, you know, definitely do it. And for DMs who, you know, like me, work a lot. I mean, I work 44 hours a week, you know, minimum usually. So it's hard to actually find the time to sit down and write adventures. So stuff like this is really invaluable. And, you know, the overall quality seems really good. It seems like it's going to be a really good campaign to run. So, you know, I do look forward to getting the chance. Anyway, that's my my opinions and my thoughts of the Hoard of the Dragon Queen book. Like I said, comment below if you've run the adventure. I'm interested to see how things went for you. And next week's video will be the video on the supplements for 5th edition and how I want Wizards of the Coast to handle those. So thank you for watching, YouTube.